Inspired by the small family-run bookstore, Cook the Books will reveal the cooks behind the books. Celebrity chefs, rising culinary stars and food writers. They'll tell me about their latest book and what inspires them. And then they'll cook some of their favourite recipes in our Cook the Books kitchen, where I'll try to discover some of their culinary secrets. And I'll also be out and about visiting some celebrated food writers at their home or restaurant.
This week we're featuring the Good Food Cookbook by Nadia Lim. A former winner of MasterChef, Nadia readily admits she's food obsessed.
Food's my life, I guess, in a nutshell. I've always been obsessed with it from when I was really, really young. It was the only thing I was ever really good at. I've always been a good all-rounder, but it wasn't until I discovered my passion for food that I suddenly realised, wow, I can be really awesome at this and top it.
What is it about food that got you so obsessed?
I think it's any chef or cook that you talk to, they love the idea of being able to make people happy. That's what humans are always after. We're pretty basic creatures. Everyone wants enjoyment and they want others to enjoy what they can offer them, I guess. And I quickly picked up when I was very young that, hey, if I make dinner and everyone eats it and they all go, oh yum, this is delicious, you feel really good.
You ought to be like the dream daughter.
in that way, probably not in other ways. But, and when I was at high school, 13, 14 years old, I used to hold dinner parties for my friends. And I'd do like 3 or 4 courses, I'd write out little menus, I'd even make up mocktails to go with the different dishes. And my friends just thought I was the bee's knees. I was so cool. So I was like, yep, I'm going to keep this up.
Even back then, Nadia had decided where she was heading, a career in food, writing cookbooks and cooking on TV.
And it was Jamie Oliver who was my inspiration. So I remember very clearly the day that I watched him on The Naked Chef. And I just thought he was amazing and he was my idol and I wanted to be just like him. And I ended up coming up with this idea that I was going to have a TV show and write cookbooks called Food in the Nude, which is like a spin-off to The Naked Chef.
You get a lot of viewers for that.
Yeah, and I think Mum and Dad were probably quite
At 12.
shocked. Yeah. Oh, my little girl's going to cook naked in an apron? What is she thinking? But I didn't mean that, of course. I mean, the food would be nude, and by that I mean just good natural food that's not dressed up in fancy packages and additives.
The first nude dish Nadia is going to be making is an all-time favourite comfort dish, lasagna, using ricotta cheese and good quality minced beef.
So let's start with the eggplant. I love eggplant.
Me too. Why tamper with the old Kiwi favourite lasagna recipe?
All my recipes, I kind of like to add more vegetables in wherever I can.
Nice thin slices. You're not even going to really see those in there, so the kids
That's
won't
right.
notice, will they? They'll just
I'm all about,
blend in.
trying to get vegetables in where kids can't see.
So you like to use fresh, whole food ingredient as possible, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I have a saying, eat food that comes from the ground, the sea and the sky. Yeah, and not from the factories.
Nice.
So if you can kind of follow that most of the time, It doesn't have to be all the time, of course. There's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine every now and again. Or...
Slice pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Perfect.
and into the oven.
Yep, so about 180 for about 15 minutes until it's just kind of nicely, lightly browned on top.
You don't have to turn them.
No.
Excellent. I like this.
Make it as easy
Lazy
as
cooking.
possible. Yeah.
Okay, so while you do the second tray, I'm going to help you out with some fresh ricotta
Thank you.
with this homemade kit. And all I've done is 2 litres of milk, and I need to bring that up to 90 degrees.
The ricotta is going to replace the traditional white sauce used in lasagna.
People think, cheese must be really hard to make, but when you've got kits like this, it makes it so easy and it's really impressive. You can tell your friends, I've made this, my own cheese.
That's what
Everyone's
it's all
gonna
about,
think
isn't
you're
it?
a rock star. Normally this recipe in the sauce, I've put in dried herbs.
Oh
just
no,
because most
we don't need
people
dried herbs today.
have that in their pantry, but no, today we've got fresh oregano, so we'll use that. And I thought maybe some thyme, we could add that in.
All right.
And then we've got basil as well.
Okay, you watch the milk,
Okay.
and I'll go and grab those herbs for you.
Thank you.
Yum.
Awesome, thank
Nothing
you.
like the smell of fresh herbs.
Just adds life to a dish, you know, and a squeeze of lemon juice too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, often those two things can just take a dish from being quite ordinary and mediocre to being amazing. So we need some onion and garlic. How's the ricotta going?
Good. We're almost up to our 90 degrees.
I've got my beef mince, and you could also use lamb mince instead if you liked, and that would almost turn it more into a moussaka with the eggplant.
Especially with the eggplant. When it comes time to writing an actual recipe for your book, you must almost be having to stop yourself because be like,
Yes.
it'd also be really good with this or with that or do
You're
this
so
or do
right.
that.
Absolutely. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to brown that mince
Yeah,
off.
looks very good. So some salt. These fresh herbs are going to make it even more delicious. So let's taste test it. Would you like some more herbs? I think we can go more too. That's the thing about cooking, it's all about feeling it. A recipe is really just a guide.
That's a lovely way of looking at it.
So now some tomato paste, which gives it a really intense tomato flavour, and some canned crushed tomatoes. So the trick here is we're going to simmer it for about 8 to 10 minutes if we want to intensify the flavours to make sure our lasagna is really packed full of flavour.
Right, I'm at 90 degrees.
So time to add the citric acid.
So this is just citric acid that's been
Diluted
with water. And I think I just give it one quick good stir.
Look, it's already working.
Wow.
It looks really good.
I can't believe that that is milk and citric acid
Yeah,
in 12, 13 minutes.
that's right.
We have got ourselves fresh ricotta.
And of course, at this stage, you could freestyle it a bit now and add whatever you like. Fresh herbs, maybe some lemon zest would be really nice, a little bit of garlic. You could even do honey if you wanted a sweet one.
And with the remainder, the whey, what is that good for?
You can
wanna
use it
waste
in smoothies or shakes, baking as well.
The eggplant only needs to be roasted for a few minutes.
So, time to assemble,
Yep, so we need the ricotta first,
which is strained out nicely. Look at that.
and then we're going to mix grated cheese into it.
Okay.
Yeah, you could
You
use
got a bit more
parmesan.
flavour, or?
Yeah, this is Edam. Whatever you've got in the fridge is fine. Just layering a little bit of ricotta, about half a cup,
On the bottom?
on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
I normally put the lasagna sheet in first.
I guess I do it this way so that you've got a little bit of moisture underneath
Yeah,
the lasagna
right.
sheet. Now we need some mint sauce.
Yum.
Yeah. Every kid is going to love this. If you want to make it gluten-free, you don't have to use the lasagna pasta sheets, just use more eggplant as the
Right.
layers. You could use pumpkin as well if you sliced it really thinly.
Kumara.
Yeah, kumara, yep, that would be great. There we go, sprinkle that over. And then it's ready to go into the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes roughly.
With our lasagna, we're going to be having a salad of fresh beetroot leaves and rocket.
And our lasagna is out of the oven and it's been sitting for about
5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It kind of just lets everything set. Oh, look at that. Not sloppy at all.
Perfection.
Oh, nice.
Shall
Perfect.
we give it a try?
Yes.
That is really good.
Good comfort food. The meat sauce is so rich and you know, you get that subtle eggplant flavour.
Very subtle, but the texture of it is really nice. The homemade ricotta, how nice is that?
Good job.
Thank you.
After the break, Nadia makes her delicious mandarin syrup cake.
Sometimes I even have a little slice of this for breakfast.
We're back at Cook the Books, talking with Nadia Lim about her latest cookbook.
So, inspiration for recipes then? I mean, how do you creatively explore those recipes or come up with them?
I think you often come up with some of your best recipes when you don't have much. If you haven't been food shopping for a while,
Yeah.
you don't have much in the pantry and the fridge, it forces you to think differently and think outside the square. But I get most of my inspiration from the produce in front of me. I mean, I love going to the markets. I just look at what looks amazing, pick all of that up, and I haven't thought about what I'm going to make. And as soon as I get home and I kind of lay it out on the bench, it's just incredible, like how the food almost talks to you and it says, hey, I could go really well with the chervil, or hey, don't forget me, I'm the eggplant here, I could go really nice with these capsicums, and the food kind of tells you what to cook with it.
Whatever Nadia comes up with, you can be sure it's not going to be a complicated, time-consuming recipe.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm actually quite a lazy cook. And
I think we all are,
yeah,
to some degree,
maybe.
you know, especially
Some
7
people,
nights a week when you have
that's
to
right.
cook. Yeah.
I mean, some people love slaving away in the kitchen. I'm definitely not one of those. And it's interesting that just because you're in the food industry, people think, oh, she
You've
must
been cooking
love
all day.
being cooking all the time and being in the kitchen. My dinners are like 15 to 20 minutes.
Which is
to
sort of the
prep.
Jamie Oliver influence as well, I guess,
Yeah,
isn't it? I mean,
it's
he's
really-
a quick chef.
Yeah, that's right. I think you just, whatever, you know, produce looks great and is really fresh, you don't need many ingredients. You pair the right flavours together, you're done.
Let's see if Nadia's managed to pair the right flavours together in her second dish, mandarin syrup cake.
Well, it's a very easy cake to make. So you start with 3 or 4 mandarins, and then, this might sound strange, but
Yeah.
pop them in a pot, cover it with water, and boil them for about an hour until they're soft.
Unpeeled.
Yeah, so we've got some that we did earlier.
Voila.
So let's
Okay,
take
so
them out. So these have been boiling for about an hour, and now what we've got to do is just cut it in half. If it has pips, get rid of the pips. And you know how I was saying before that I'm a really lazy cook? It's going to chuck everything into this awesome little contraption here and blend it all up. We're going to put the whole mandarin right into the blender.
We're going to be lazy.
That's it. And this gives the mandarin cake such a mandarin-y flavour. Like, it's really intense, but it also provides a lot of the moisture to it
Right.
as well. We need
This
some
cake is gluten-free, right?
gluten-free, dairy-free, refined sugar-free,
Sugar-free,
and
excellent.
no added fat.
Sounds like about as healthy a cake as you could bake.
A lot of people would probably think, oh, that's not going to taste
Tastes
good,
very nice,
but I'll
yeah.
let you be the judge.
Okay.
So we add 200 grams of ground almonds, and now some baking powder. 5 eggs, yep.
So it's a protein-heavy
Yeah,
cake.
it is. Yeah. I mean, you need the protein in there to hold the structure of the cake. And now some honey. The original recipe actually has sugar in it, but you can use honey instead if you don't want refined sugar.
Is it a direct conversion, like a tablespoon of sugar to a tablespoon of honey? Or?
Not quite. My rule is always add half the amount of honey if you want to substitute honey into a recipe instead of sugar. Then taste it
if
and
it's
then
sweet
add
enough.
more, because honey is much stronger than sugar.
Sure.
So we just blended it until it's really smooth.
Yeah, that looks like a really moist mixture
Easy
already.
recipe. Yeah, so this is a lazy cook's cake.
Never thought of you as being lazy before today, Nadia.
Or easy.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, that's right. And now it's ready to be baked. 1 hour, 180 degrees Celsius.
Look at this cake, it looks so moist.
So out of the oven, and it's cooled a little bit, but it's still quite warm. So while it's warm, then we pour the syrup on top. So for the syrup, all you need is the juice of 1 mandarin. So we're making it even more mandarin-y. And again, you could use sugar, or you can use a little bit of honey just to sweeten it with. There we
And it's
go.
important to drizzle this while it's warm, so
Yes, kind of
that it
absorbs in.
Right.
And so we just pour that all over the top.
I'm salivating at the smell. It's
Smells
amazing,
so
isn't
good,
it?
doesn't it? Twirl it around like that, just so that it gets in there. And so ideally, you'd let that sit for maybe about 10 minutes until all the syrup had soaked in.
Okay, so it's nicely set.
Yep. Perfect. Whew. Yummy. Onto there. We'll just slide it on. So what we've got to do now is eat some.
I'm happy to help you with that.
Look at that. Look at the colour of it.
Yeah, I love the almond meal texture that
Yeah.
comes in a cake.
It's really moist. Bit of yogurt. I often make this cake for a dinner party because you can make it the night before. How do you
It's
like
so light and so mandarin-y.
I'll tell you a little secret.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even have a little slice of this for breakfast.
It's melting in my mouth.
Nadia's background as a dietitian can be seen in the way she's written her book.
nowadays, all the nutrition information that's out there, it has become quite confusing. I mean, there's all these fad diets around. You open a magazine or a newspaper, there's always
told different
research.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it keeps changing. And I want to take people back to basics about nutrition and healthy eating. And one of the core concepts in my second book, Nadia's Good Food Cookbook, is around the plate model. The plate model is simply, if you look at your lunch or your dinner, you know, whatever you're eating, at least half of it should be non-starchy vegetables. So that's all the colourful vegetables.
Yeah.
And then a quarter should be protein, and the other quarter should be some kind of carbohydrate. And that's a really simple concept that is very effective because it doesn't take, you know, a rocket scientist to do that. Everyone can do that, and it's a great habit to have for the rest of your life.
Books from the series are available in-store and online at cookthebooks.tv. Next week on Cook the Books, Simon Gault reveals the secret to his weight loss and new food philosophy.
I was able to completely change my situation.
Simon shows me how to make risotto the way it's meant to be made.
What we're looking for is it just ticking over, like a little mud pool bubbling away.
And he follows it with a delicious, oh-so-simple recipe for prawn taco.
Just pick it up and get your laughing gear around it and you go for it.
And then I'm out of the kitchen visiting the expert sausage maker and fish smoker, Jeremy Schmid.
Pretty bizarre sensation, I have to say.